All right, here we are, sunny Arizona on Saturday morning. It's actually a little later than I would have wanted to be out here. It's 8 a.m., 96 degrees. I'm getting started on my run. I'll see you guys when I get back. All right, so day 19 is down. I didn't add any legs to my run today. The sun is beating down. It's just my legs are tired because I ran late last night. By the time I got done running, it was 10 o'clock. So by the time I went to bed, it was like close to midnight. Needless to say, I got up a little too late this morning, so the weather was already, in the 90s. And that pavement is already warm. My feet feel like they've been running around on a skillet already, just like they did last night, which I hate that feeling. But I made a commitment, 365 days of running without any days off. And if I skip a day, I have to reset the clock. And I'm not ready to throw in the towel, So at the end of the day, rain, shine, class, work, making dinner, getting my kid ready for school, all of that shit has to happen. But I also have to run my 365 days every day. Something I recently learned is that a lot of people, they dabble. They're dabblers, They start a business, but they dabble in it. They got other things that they're doing. Maybe you started a business in the insurance world, but because it's commission based only, you're also, doing other things like, you have a part-time job at a bar in the evenings, or you're, running food for Uber or whatever. Like, it could be anything, right? You could be, moonlighting doing something else. And so you're kind of dabbling at your business, and sometimes it could be relationships. Sometimes it could just be dabbling at taking care of yourself. You eat a few good meals, but then you go for a few weeks where you eat nothing but pizza, ice cream, and and stuff that's not good for you, right? So you're dabbling in your self-care, right? You kind of go through these waves of doing good things and bad things for yourself, or you kind of go through these waves of like, I'm committed to getting my business up and running, I'm so not committed, and I'm committed again, and I'm so not committed, and everything takes precedence over the thing that you're supposed to be committed to. And that makes you a dabbler. You're dabbling in this type of environment. You're dabbling at this thing that you're trying to do. And then I learned that there's other people who, jump into doing a business. They commit 100%. They tend to spike a little bit. Their business starts to do good, and then you hit a plateau. You hit a point where maybe your business slows down and you end up quitting, or you end up doing something else, or you start looking for the next shiny object. And I know a lot of people that start one thing, and then 2 months later they're doing something else, and 3 months later they're doing something else, and a year later they're doing something else. And the thing is, if you keep doing something else, you're never going to build roots, and you can't have something grow without roots. That's just illogical. It doesn't happen. You can't have something grow without grounding some roots. And those challenges that make you turn away from whatever it is that you're trying to do, in reality, those challenges are there to show you that you're going in the right direction. When you're on a road and you're going, from California to New York, you're gonna come across roadblocks. You're gonna come across the accidents on the road, congested traffic signs, detours. And the thing is, you don't sit there and you go, oh, there's a detour, I'm in Oklahoma. Let me turn back because it's over. Let's just go. Instead of going to New York, let's go to Florida. You don't do that, right? You just go through the detour. You navigate your way past it, and you keep going so that you can reach New York. And so many of us, we hit detours, and things aren't going great. And then our family and our friends, they don't know what the hell we're doing. They don't know why we believe in what we believe or why we want to do the things that we want to do. So they bombard you with all these ideas of, see, man, that stuff doesn't work. You really need to just do what I do. Or you really just need to learn something else, or you need to go think about, a different kind of business. That business doesn't work. They don't understand it because they don't know what you committed yourself to doing. But all those negative thoughts and ideas, they creep up into your mind, and before you know it, you start questioning what you committed yourself to do, and then you walk away from it and you're doing something else. And yesterday you were selling insurance, and the next day you were selling real estate, and the next day you were selling shoes, and the next day you were trying to start a bubblegum factory, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And what happens is the people that are around you, the people that are waiting for you to build your roots, to see how serious you are, they lose trust in you because they go, oh, yeah, he's doing something else again, or he's doing something new again, right? Oh yeah, he's doing this running thing, right? Whatever it may be, right? And all they think is, oh, it's just another phase. It's just another area of his life. It's gonna probably in 6 months, they're done with it, right? So I think it's really important to understand the difference between somebody who dabbles and somebody who's committed. And then within the ones that are committed, it's really interesting to try to understand that there's two different types there. One type is the type that basically reaches a plateau, gets totally stressed out about it, drives themselves crazy and just keeps charging at it like a bull until they break through the plateau and they get another spike in their growth. They get to go somewhere else. And then they hit another plateau, because that's how life is. You hit plateaus. When I used to lift weights, I used to think, I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then guess what? I would hit a part where I would be plateaued and I couldn't break past that weight. And so, I upped my intake of protein. I upped my cardio. I did some different techniques that's supposed to help you break through plateaus. I changed my workout around, because it shocks the muscle cells. It shocks the muscle and it makes the muscle, what happens with plateaus is that when you're working out is that your muscles become accustomed to that, what it is that you're doing. So then they become used to it. So it's no longer challenging. So it stops like pushing through. When you change your workout around and you shock the muscle, then the muscle doesn't know what it's doing. It's like, oh wow, I got to get stronger because this is different. This is a whole different new thing. I'm not really sure how to do this. And so then it goes into this reactive mode, and then it pushes you through the plateau. So I do that. So I do that when I'm working out. I do that in life sometimes, but there's that stress of pushing yourself to stressfully kind of push yourself through it. And that's that one area of commitment. You're committed. And those individuals, man, they went to the shore and burned the ships. They knew they weren't coming back. They're going to push through no matter what. Stressful or not, they're just going to push through, and then they're going to see their commitment through. And then there's another level of commitment. There's those who, they reach a plateau in life. They don't know what to do. But instead of stressing about it, instead of freaking out and just powering their way through their plateau and throwing money at, for example, if it was a business, right, and you have a business and it's growing and then it hits a plateau and you don't know what to do, you're like, I'm gonna throw money at marketing, I'm gonna pass out flyers in the neighborhood, I'm gonna give away free meals every day, for the first 10 people that show up to my restaurant. I'm gonna do all these. I'm just gonna throw everything I could think of at this problem until I break through this plateau. I'm gonna join a BMI group. I'm gonna, look for business owners networks and I'm just gonna do whatever it takes to do it. That's the stressful one. That's the one that's just stressing and trying whatever they can. And then there's the other one. The other one, he owns a restaurant too. He reaches the plateau, but instead of freaking out about it and chasing it, like throwing everything at it to see what sticks, and stressing as they're losing money, or they're trying all these new ideas. This one particular individual, he doesn't stress. Instead, what he does is he steps back and he thinks, okay, I'm not the first restaurant owner in the world. This problem had to have been overcome by somebody before. And so I want to find that person. I'm going to talk to other restaurant owners. I'm going to find out who's had this problem before. And I'm going to pick their brain. I'm going to buy them lunch. I'm going to pick their brain. I'm going to go on forums. I'm going to research. I'm going to listen to people's blogs that own restaurants. I'm going to do the research to find those individuals who have been here before and who were able to get through it. Because that way, I can get ideas that have already been tested. So they're not stressing about it. They understand that getting through this plateau is just a matter of doing the research. The first time I hit a plateau when I was at the gym, I just, I pushed, I drank more water, I ran more, I tried to do more push-ups before I went to bed. I was just trying whatever I could to try to get past the plateau. And one of the things that I didn't know, I was killing myself. I was killing myself at the gym, trying to push through this plateau. And I had a friend of mine who used to work out with me sometimes. And I hadn't seen him for a few months. And we ran into each other at the gym, and he came to me and he said, man, you're like really going after it, man. Like, what is up? And I said, man, I hit this plateau and I'm just not feeling it. I can't get past this. I can't get past this point. I'm stuck here, man, and I can't get past it, And he said, have you tried working the negative? Have I what? And he said, have you tried working the negative? Look, man, instead of pushing yourself to push more weight and to run more and to ingest, 13 chicken breasts in a day, man, and taking 14, protein shakes, why don't you work the negative? Instead of doing 30 repetitions, just do 4, but work the negative. You'll blast right through your plateau. How crazy was that? For months, I had been going to the gym. I had been pushing myself to stupid tired, okay? I had been eating ridiculous, like getting up in the middle of the night and having a protein shake in the middle of the night, so that I wouldn't lose calories overnight, so that I could continue, growing and gaining size. And here's this guy, and he tells me about working the negative, and he explains to me that when you curl a dumbbell, instead of just powering up, gradually, really slowly bring the dumbbell down, right? Do it at about 75% of the weight that you normally do. And then just do the real slow comeback, the real slow extension, working the negative. You know what? I worked the negative for 2 weeks. First of all, I cut down my intake. The minute he told me that same day I started eating less. And in that same day, the very next day I worked out a lot less harder. I worked out with a lot less intensity, right? I went into the gym and I didn't max out my weight. I went to about 70% of my weight, and I exploded on my positive, and then I slowly released my negatives. And I felt this burn that I had never felt before. It was a different kind of burn, when you did a set. And I trained until burnout, What was the other thing? The other thing was work the negative until you just can't bring it down slow. And so I used this technique, and within like 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, I broke right through my plateau. I put on almost 20 more pounds on my flat bench 2 weeks later. It was ridiculous, man. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because in life, we're going to hit plateaus, man. We're going to hit ups and downs. You know, I've had really good ups, and I had really, really, really low lows. You know, I've been out of work sometimes for a year. I've found myself in really tough financial situations. I have started businesses and found out that those were not the businesses for me. I have dabbled in many other areas of my life and have been committed in other areas of my life. And those plateaus just, you know, they suck when they come, but they come. That's the thing. They just show up when they're ready. We don't have a choice. So what I've learned now that I'm older, right? Ironically, I didn't get the lesson back then when I was younger lifting weights. I didn't get the lesson that the lesson was to look for somebody who's already past the plateau. So I have always been the person that encounters a problem and goes, oh yeah, this is a problem. Well, guess what? I'm tougher than this problem. This problem's not going to beat me. I'm going to beat it down. I'm going to figure out a way. And I just go at it like a bull. I just go at it like fearlessly until I figure it out, you know. But I can honestly say that requires a lot of loss of sleep. That requires dealing with uncertainty consistently or a lot. And you don't know what's working and what isn't. So even when things are working, you don't realize that they're working, so you're stressed, you're worried, you're questioning. It's not easy to do things alone. So sometimes it just pays, to find somebody who's been there to push you through, to help you get through, you know. And you know, the other thing is, don't be afraid to pay people. Don't be afraid to pay people. You know, I'm not a plumber, and I've had plumbing issues, and I've hired plumbers, and the plumber comes and they spend 10 minutes doing something. They walk away, and they're like, okay, that's $300. And because I'm a curious individual and I want to learn everything I can, I usually stand right next to them and I watch what they're doing. And then I pay them. I pay them their $300 and they're gone. And the thing is, sometimes I'll even tip them. I'll be like, here's $300 and here's $20. Dude, thanks for fixing my sink, right? Because it took him 20 minutes to fix my sink. But that plumber spent years learning the skills so that he can do that job in 30 minutes. You're not paying for the 30 minutes, man. You're paying for the knowledge that plumber brought to your house. Otherwise, you'd have a messed up sink. So don't be greedy about paying people for their skills. Don't be greedy about paying for an amazing meal, because the chef that cooked it spent 20 years of his life learning how to cook that steak to perfection. We often want things for free. And the thing is, the way your relationship is with money, that's how your relationship with money is always going to be. It can't go one way and not the other. If you're stingy with money and you're always trying to not pay people for their skills, then guess what? Money doesn't want to be with you, because money becomes really stingy with you. It doesn't believe you deserve it because you don't believe other people deserve it. So don't be afraid. If you're going to learn something good, invest in yourself. It's an investment. If you're going to pick up a book and it's a $30 book, buy it. If it's going to give you something that's going to enrich you. If someone's going to help you get your business from where you're at to where you want to be, don't be afraid to pay it, because you're going to get to where you want to be. Not only that, you're going to learn so that if you ever have another business, you can also take that business to where you want it to be, right? When I watched that plumber change my valves on my sink, I paid him $300 for the 2 valves. And I watched everything he did. And then I tipped him. I tipped him like $40. And you know what? That was the last time that I had to hire a plumber to fix the valves on my sink. When the valve goes out, I go under there and I fix it because I learned from that. So I'm not telling you to be stupid and just simply throw your money away, but I'm telling you to be wise. Pay the people what they're worth. Pay to learn and take the time and invest the effort in learning it. I'll leave you guys with those thoughts today. If you're enjoying these videos, hit the subscribe button, man. It was great talking to you this morning. One less day to go on this 365-day journey. Have a good weekend.